Hello, this is Jack Christian. Welcome to the Jack Christian podcast. I'm unsure whether I'm going to keep that name. I feel like it's a bit, it's not like I'm famous or anything, so why would anyone be enticed to listen to it based on my name? I don't know. Anyway, that's not really the point. So yeah, I'm still working on how to do this podcasting thing. So I'm not sure whether I should be writing a script or not. I kind of, like last time, I just kind of rambled. I make some bullet points on what I want to talk about and then just ramble about it. So whether that things will probably grow and evolve over time. We'll see. We'll see how we do. But this is only my second podcast I've ever recorded. I'm not very good. If you've ever been on my Instagram, you can tell that I'm not very good on camera or anything, any kind of recording scenario. This is. Hopefully, I'm getting better every time, but still, a lot of room to improve. Anyway, enough of that. What do I want to talk about this week? What's been on my mind? So essentially, coming over to Australia, it's given me an opportunity to kind of reflect on how I was working back in the UK. What was good, what was bad, and it's kind of given me a clean slate to start again and try and do this freelancing thing in a kind of healthier and more efficient way. So that's kind of what I want to talk about this week, is what I'm trying to do that. So back home, I was I often joked that I was a functioning workaholic. But essentially what that meant was that I was just constantly working, glued to my laptop, but never actually doing anything. I felt as though just being sat in front of a laptop for hours on end, whether it was just tinkering with my website. I mean, the amount of I would design and build a portfolio website for myself, publish it, and then immediately start again. And it was just things like that, whereas I was just kind of doing hours, but with no real target, no kind of measurable goal. I just felt like putting the hours in was what I needed to do to make a success of it, and that's not how it worked. I never got any work through my website or anything like that. All my work was just people I already knew from the job I had previously and referrals from people I'd done work with. So I know that because people have referred me and I've got new business based off of the work that I've done, I know that I do the work well. And one thing I've never been able to do is one thing I've not learned how to do effectively is communicate that through marketing and in sales conversations I can kind of do it, but it's still not that experienced in that either, so I wouldn't say that I'm good at sales. So anyway, where did this kind of this obsession with just putting hours in come from? Well, up until about 21, so left school at 18. I wasn't great at school. I was reasonably smart, but just fucking lazy. And then left school. Just kind of, I had a job working in IT, and it was good. I had a good team. I worked hard for that team, but I never had any any kind of goals to move beyond that. I was quite happy just to have like a minimum wage job and then just go home and like smoke weed and play FIFA. That was fine. I was content with that up until about the age of 21. Because at that point, all my friends were starting to leave university and they were going to go off and get jobs, and it kind of like put a mirror up on me. It's like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Where do I want to go? I can't just do this forever. But I mean, to get myself, I knew how far behind I was. And I'd started kind of learning front-end development at that point, but still I was like still kind of lazy, and I was like half-assing it. But then so I started looking for I really got into like hustle porn. So like, you know, the videos on YouTube where it's like some guy like screaming at you like, you've got to work every waking area, every hour. You've got to, I don't know, I can't remember, but you know the kind of shit. That got me like motivated, and it got me working harder. I remember when I first started working at the ad agency in London. I was so obsessed with this whole like grind set hustle thing that I'd get up at 5 a.m. I'd almost do exactly what they told me to do on those motivational videos on YouTube. I'd get up at 5 a.m. I'd go work out for like 2 hours at the gym. Then I'd get to work like an hour early. I'd have like my own little projects that I was working on to try and improve my skills as a developer, because at the ad agency I wasn't really doing the stuff that I wanted to be doing. So I was like mainly just building like banners and HTML emails. So in my own little projects, that's where I was learning initially I was learning React.js and Node.js and just building little applications, and then eventually moved on to Vue.js as well, which is like the main framework I use now. But anyway, it's not really the point of what I was saying. Essentially, that kind of like, once I kind of like settled into life in London and wanted to actually enjoy my life there, like the hustle and grind set kind of like whole thing in my head kind of faded away. And because I had like a steady income, I didn't feel like I had to be like grinding and just to like make money, you know what I mean? It didn't really seem as important until I decided to become a freelancer full time. At that point, when I didn't have that steady income, I was suddenly kind of taken over by fear, and that fear was of like just not having any income coming in. And it's a legit fear, like that's scary. Like if you've got no money, you've got no way, you can't pay your rent, you can't buy food, you can't do any of that. So it is a legitimate fear, but I think that fear kind of mixed into this like unsavory hangover of that hustle and grind set thing where it just turned into like, I've just got to be doing stuff all the time. And that's like, it's almost like I was using just messing around with stuff around my freelance business, and just going at it like that meant that I could hide behind that instead of facing up to the stuff I actually had to do, which was put myself in front of people and just like put myself in front of people, stick my head above the parapet and be like, I'm here, I'm good at what I do, I want to help you, let's work together. But for me personally, like I've never been someone who likes that. I've always hated being the center of attention. I hate talking about myself, and I'm a massive introvert. So it's not really Not really a great start for someone who someone in my position, but I mean you can't stay the same forever. And anyway, I like to think that the stuff that freelancing has forced me to do, I like the growth and the changes I've seen in myself as a result, so I feel like I'm on the right track. Anyway, again, I digress. Essentially, coming to Australia now, as I said, it's kind of a clean slate, and it means I can try and do things a little bit better, and try and refine my process and reprioritize things, and try and make my relationship with work a bit healthier. I am hesitant to say create work-life balance because I feel maybe I'll get into this I don't want to get into it now too much, but I feel like work-life balance is a little bit of a con, and I'll tell you why. I think if you think about what balancing is two opposing forces that you're trying to just get in equilibrium. And I feel like whilst it's natural to have a life where you have things pulling you in different directions, like you can't be all things to all people, but if you can try and create a life where you have as many things as you can pulling in the same direction, then you don't need to balance, because all the stuff you want is kind of working into each other. And that's at least the kind of life that I want to create, which is why the main reason why I want to be a freelancer, because it means that I can work hard, and I can be of service to people, and I can be useful essentially. But it also means that there's like other parts of my life that it gives me the control over my work, so that I can also integrate other parts of my life and just kind of like get things working together rather than against each other. So I will rephrase what I said. For me, work-life balance doesn't really work. For others, it's I mean, I can't speak for everyone else, so yeah. Anyway, don't want to get too much into that today. So what am I doing now to try and improve my relationship with my work? So obviously before I was just like throwing shit at the wall, nothing stuck because I wasn't really doing anything targeted or deliberate. So that's the first thing to kind of think about now. Excuse me, is being deliberate about what I'm doing. So breaking down like, so I start with a problem. So let's say I don't have any clients, I don't have a network. Okay, let's break that down. What do we need to do to get that? So that means going to meetups to create a network. I've got a few meetups in the coming weeks that I'm looking to go to. Shout out to meetup.com for that. Creative Lunch Club as well. Fantastic. Go on their Instagram. And then so that's how you build a network, and then getting clients. That's the what I was talking about last week, like outbound marketing, just like outreach to potential clients. So I've started with agencies, but moving forward, I will also start contacting local businesses as well. As I mentioned last week, there's so many in Melbourne, there's so much opportunity here. I feel confident that I will start to find work eventually. So there's that, and then so taking that a step further, so all the extra stuff I have to do for that. So the marketing work, even the inbound marketing, working on my website, writing blog posts, recording this podcast. It's all work that I have to do. So now I'm trying to commit half of my working day every day is just working on that and making myself my number one client. Because, I want to be deliberate about what I'm doing, set goals and reach them. And I feel like that is certainly, it's not a perfect strategy at this point. I'm still figuring it out, like I said, but I feel like just having those definite goals in mind is, well, that's how, like, once you set the goals, then the strategy you can set after that, but the goals remain the same. So that's kind of like how I'm trying to be more deliberate. And then obviously, like, I've still got a little bit of paid client work from back in the UK. There's no big projects. It's just kind of like managing stuff. So that's not a huge amount for that. So I can still do that in the back end of my day, and I'll do it into the evening as well, just so there's a bit of crossover with the morning in the UK in case I need to talk to anyone. But yeah, the main thing is making myself and my business the priority. Like, because it's all well and good making clients a priority, but if I'm not functioning as a business, then I'm not going to have I'm not going to have any clients, which means I'm going to be of no use to any clients. So making sure that I am keeping my business ticking over that's the main thing for me. And then secondly is I'm trying to be disciplined about when I'm working. So I'll still do like at least a full working day, if not like, so it's like 8, like previously it'll be like 9 till like 10 o'clock, 9 in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. I don't want to do that anymore. So like I'll start like 9-10 o'clock in the morning, then I'll work till like, I'll work like 8 to 10 hours depending on how much client work I've got at the time. But essentially it's not about the hours worked, which is what I thought it was previously. It's so there's that phrase, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. I can't remember who said that. It was like Abraham Lincoln or Eleanor Roosevelt, I can't remember. Someone like that anyway. Essentially it's the same principle. It's not the hours worked, it's the work in the hours. So as long as, if I have a list of tasks for a day, once those tasks are complete, I just switch off. Like even if I finish at like 4 in the afternoon, if I've done what I needed to do that day, then that's it. Like I can add more to the list, but like I just want to try and be as disciplined as I can so that I'm steering the ship. I'm deciding when I work, and I don't feel like it's out of my control. Because I think when you start to feel like it's out of your control, that's when you start to feel like you're being dragged all over the place, and you just can't. It's just fucking exhausting, and you get burned out, and you just start to resent your work, which has happened to me several times, and it's not something I want. It's not something I want, because I do really like the job that I do, and I do really like working with business and helping businesses through my skills. So that discipline, hopefully, coupled with deliberate, targeted work, I'm hoping will start to be more effective, essentially. Because it's not just about me feeling nice. It's about being effective and actually doing stuff and setting a target and achieving the target, and the target takes you further, rather than just, like I said, throw shit at the wall. So yeah, and then I'm just gonna have some water. And then on top of this like kind of approach, healthier approach to my work, healthier relationship with work, there's a lot of things that previously I didn't do that I wish I had, but for reasons that I'll get into, I didn't. So it's the things like learning how to market myself, putting myself in front of people, trying to sell my services, all stuff like that. Because I was kind of like, back in the UK, I was afraid of doing that. Like I said, it's not something that comes naturally to me. I'm very introverted. I don't like being the centre of attention at all. So forcing myself to do that now, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes and do a lot of things wrong and just kind of like do a lot of hard yards that I kind of wish I already had like a lot of those, the lessons from those behind me from my time in the UK. So I'm kind of, I'm a little bit annoyed that I haven't done it already, but it's kind of like, you know, when you're kind of like fearful of something, but then it's kind of like a whole ego thing where your ego will then start to like spin it. So it's like, so for me, it was like, I was afraid of doing the, like, marketing myself and doing certain things on my website just to try and get people on there, or even doing social medias where it's like you're doing things to get views and get reach. It's like things like that because I was afraid to do it, then my ego kind of spin the story, and I spin the story in my head. So it's like I'm almost above that, and it's like I don't want to lower myself to like doing things just to get views or reach. And I think stepping away from that and realizing the position I'm in now, I understand that you do kind of have to play the game a little, and that's something that I'm just trying to like slowly get myself playing the game properly. And it's not something that comes naturally. It's not something I want to do, but it's something I have to do. And it's like the title of last week's podcast. It's like, just, you've got to do the things. Like, there's things you've got to do. So just do what's required. So I'm hoping that as I start to do all these things and I start to learn lessons from them, that the wheels will turn and I will start getting the results that I want. But you're not going to get the results without like, you're not going to get the cake without following the recipe, are you? So just got to get all the ingredients in place, whip it all in a bowl, stick it in the oven, and hopefully I'll get a cake at the end. That was some bullshit analogy, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I'll wrap it up now. I just wanted to quickly talk about what my plan is for the week, and then we can kind of review that next week maybe. And then if anyone is listening, I don't think anyone listens to this right now, but you never know. Maybe you can send me some pointers if you think that I'm doing things, that I could be doing stuff better or whatever. So the plan for next week is, well, we'll start with last week. We'll review last week. So obviously, as I mentioned, I was sending out cold emails and doing outreach to various agencies like web, creative advertising agencies, design studios, anyone I could find in Melbourne that might have work for me. Was just sending out emails to them. Sorry, my throat is not good. So I had like a long list of about 70 companies, got through all that last week. I've had a few responses, but no work just yet. So now that that's done, that first round is done, I'm now focusing on improving parts of my website, and then putting the basis in to really start going hard on SEO and inbound marketing. So I'm just kind of going through all the content, refining everything on there. So in So for my blog, for instance, I had a few posts that were just kind of non-technical and kind of like just talking about me, and my kind of like approach to freelancing and life in general. And I'm changing the way I do that now. It's like I still want to kind of tell my story and build, because that's when I look online about developing a brand and having a kind of I forget the word. I guess the kind of buzzword is personal brand, and that's kind of what I want to build. So they talk about like just telling your story, giving your insight and your perspective on things, and that's what I want to do with this podcast. And I want to take that away from my blog. And the idea with the blog is to use it for just technical articles. So essentially, a way for me to display expertise to prospective clients and also give away free information, and so that clients can use that. And just I want to like use that, and it can start to build a bit of trust, and it also will have an extra bang for the buck with SEO, in that I will be regularly updating the website, creating links to other parts of my website, hopefully building backlinks with people that create backlinks to my articles. So that's the idea with that. And then I'm also going through my case studies, because one thing, I don't know if anyone follows, I can't remember what he's called, I think it's like the Jamie Brindle on Instagram. Essentially he's a great freelancer, and his content is all about how to be a good freelancer. And he talks about having, when you send portfolios or send case studies, lots of people will just have one portfolio, whereas he recommends having like targeted portfolios. So for a certain client, say if I was sending a portfolio to an agency, it would, like, the portfolio shouldn't just be like everything I've ever done or everything that's kind of all the case studies I've ever written, but they should be targeted case studies. So they should be like projects where I've worked with agencies, and the case study includes how I work with the agencies and everything like that. So I want to go through my case studies and create more targeted portfolios using that. So hopefully when I go back to my next round of outbound marketing, I will have an even stronger base to go off and to send prospective clients to. So that's a plan for the next week. It may, depending on how much work there actually is there, I think there's a chance it could go beyond next week, but I think if I am deliberate and efficient and disciplined with my work, I hope to get it done this week, and then we can get back to targeting clients. So yeah, that's kind of the latest update. I hope everyone's having a good week. I'll be back next week with the next episode. So yeah, have a great week. I'll see you soon.